Thanks, guys. Welcome to Scrum event. I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm going to go straight in and ask you a question. Do you recognize this place? What is it? Where is it?
Utah.
Great. Ignore that bit. Anyone else know of this place? Correct. Agile Manifesto was actually created here by 17 software engineers, I'm going to say, around between the 11th and 13th of February. So what does that mean?
18 years old.
Happy birthday, Agile, right? So it's the manifesto. It's an 18-year-old adult. It's coming into maturity. And that's quite prevalent in companies today. We're going from, what's all this Agile business, to, yeah, we have to be Agile now. But then we still have the issue where people still don't quite understand it. So quick gauge in the room, how many people are working in an Agile way today? Who does Scrum? Okay, good. Kanban. Safe? Okay, we need to talk later. XP. Oh, not so many hands. One. Less? No hands. Okay, good. We don't need to talk about less. Cool. So, who coined the term Agile? There's a guy by the name of Martin Fowler. It's not him. He's not from Bethnal Green. It's this guy. He coined the term. This is Martin Fowler. And then you've got Uncle Bob Martin. Rob C. Martin is his real name, Robert C. Martin. And he, in a nutshell, while he was in Utah, he said, this Agile stuff, it's all the mushy stuff. Now, what do you think he meant by all the mushy stuff?
It's a mix of different methodologies.
A mushy stuff of mixing methodologies, okay. Anyone else? Yes. Yeah, definitely. It's about delivering great products, delivering value, having fun at work, actually going to work and wanting to go there and not thinking every time you wake up in the morning going, oh my God, I have to go to work. No, it's having fun. It's taking part. It's putting people first. So rather than thinking of people as numbers, we're thinking of people as actual people, human beings who have a life, who have things that they like to do as well. And don't forget, people are people. So you see the little mushy thing in the middle there? Whoops, I'm going to point at it. That's us. We're trying to come away from being machines, or we want to be more like people, the mushy things. So we want to be able to experiment and not get into trouble when we test things. We want to actually celebrate success and also embrace failure. It's okay to fail because we learn things. And I think many of us understand that. So, without further ado, this is our schedule today. So we want to look at why would the company want to start with Scrum? What is the manifesto and how does that tie in with Scrum? What are the pros and cons? And I'm going to talk to you about an efficient cadence, how to actually set up a cadence that works time and time again. And finally, two things. I'll go through the tools that could support you around the remote work area. And also, if we get time, and hopefully time permits, I want to learn about your experiences as well. So, where do we start? Safe, Kanban. This is often the first question that comes to companies' minds when we as Agile coaches, we get put on the ground and we say, oh, so are we going to be Scrum? I'm not sure yet. Are we going to be Kanban? Let's not think about that first. Let's think about the people. Let's think about the product that you're delivering. Let's think about the platforms that you've actually got in place right now and whether that's going to work with your new Agile journey. And also, let's think about your processes. How will that work with your new way of working? Is it going to stop us doing things? Because, come on, how many people get blocked by processes? Yeah? Sign-off processes, budgeting, procurement. even marketing sometimes. Sorry, guys, if you're in marketing, but. So why Scrum? Well, it's a way to bring people together. It forces people to come together. It gets you away from your desk. It empowers people. So when you're actually coming into the office, you're getting a voice. It's giving you a voice. So actually, you don't just have to go away, develop, and then go home in the evenings. You're doing a little bit more when you're taking part in a Scrum team. You get to deliver early and often, she says. You get fast feedback from your customers. So if you really are doing Scrum properly, you are talking and engaging with your customers. So that will give you that fast feedback. It will create cross-functional teams. So the new way of working, it allows autonomy. It gives you transparency. You can reduce waste. You can really look at the work that you're doing and decide, is it worth working on or not? And you can also remove dependencies. So, by the way, I'm happy to share these slides afterwards. So, yeah, I'm more than happy to share them. So, it's for your own benefits, I think, as well, because I want to spread the word as much as possible. So, anyone disagree with this? Any other reasons why we would do Scrum? Yeah, Nick? Yeah, absolutely. Risk management, that's a good one. I'll add that in for later. Anyone else? So, for those who don't do Scrum, I'm going to just quickly go through the processes with you. So you have a product backlog. And in that product backlog, you have prioritized work items. You have a sprint backlog, which is your next upcoming sprint work cadence. So you've agreed that in the next sprint, well, your product owner has agreed that this is what I want you to work in your sprint for the next sprint. You then have your product increment, which you agree on what you're taking in. You do a sprint review. Now, I'm actually going to pull up sprint review because there are two schools of thought. The first one I see, so I'm working with a company at BP at the moment, and what I found, sprint review means demonstration. Who agrees that it means to do demonstrations? Okay, I've already given you the answer, it's not. So sprint review is actually where you go back and look at your sprint and think about what work you've achieved, what work you haven't achieved, and whether you want to carry it over to the new sprint or not. Then you've got sprint planning. This is the point where you commit to the work. You decide what your capacity is, and you take that on as part of your commitment, you being the team. Your backlog refinements, this is where you get clarity. This is what you do. It's a session that you host to get clarity around the work that's upcoming in the sprint before, after? The new set of sprint items, sorry. Then you do a demo. That's where you get your fast feedback from your customers. And then you have the retrospective. So I'm thinking, how does that sound to you guys? About right?
No. So where's the actual work that we do?
Oh, we don't do any work.
So backlog refinement?
Yeah. Your work comes into your daily Scrum. So as part of your daily Scrum, as soon as that's over, you start doing your work.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not on the main circle.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm going to add that in. Thank you. Thanks for that. It's good feedback. So I'm going to talk to you about the 12 guiding principles of the manifesto. And then we're going to look to see and explore how that ties in with Scrum. So the principles are satisfy the customer, welcome change, deliver frequently, work together, trust and support, face-to-face conversations, working software and work together, of course, sustainable development, continuous attention, maintaining simplicity, self-organizing teams, and reflect and adjust. So these are the principles that came up in that big building in Utah when these guys were not just having conversations, but they were also skiing. Notice I put a little bit of a Kanban board there just to mix things up a little bit. So, satisfy the customer. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Now, which Scrum ceremony would you say that fits under? Sprint planning? It's actually the demo. When you're demonstrating to the customer, you're getting your fast feedback. When you're releasing, you're getting your work continuously to your customers. So you're delivering continuously. And it's unlike Kanban, so you've got continuous delivery. Kanban is continuous, that's happening all the time. In Scrum, it is every 2 weeks, but that is still continuous delivery if we do compare it to the old waterfall model. The next one, welcome change. Back to Sheetal. Welcome change in requirements, even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Where would we welcome change? I hear a voice. Planning. Yeah? Sprint review. Could do. Sprint review, you're actually reflecting back on the sprint that you did previously. Possibly, yes, I like that answer. Typically, you would welcome change in your backlogs. So when you're getting fast feedback from your customers, that feedback needs to go back into the cycle. So you put it into your product backlog, you can prioritize it, decide if it's of any value, if it's even worth working on, and then you can bring it into your sprint planning, your refinements, your reviews, your demos, your retros. You can bring it in. But you could also bring it in 2 other places. Your backlog refinement, which is where the change gets introduced, but you could also bring it in at your daily stand-ups. I forgot to highlight that, sorry. In your daily stand-up is somewhere where you could potentially, if it's a critical change, introduce it. Why would I do that? Yeah, exactly. So the way to resolve it, we've taken in story points, fingers crossed. We negotiate out something we haven't worked on, and we replace it with this urgent item. Deliver frequently. So I've given the game away here, haven't I? Deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with the preference with a shorter time scale. Which ceremony does that fall under? Sorry? The sprint. Yeah? Oh, my thing's not working. I've put it at the demo. We have something that we have to deliver at the end of our sprint cycles. We have a typical rule within the Scrum principles where you need to deliver something in its entirety. So you're working up. So actually, you're absolutely correct. The whole cycle will be the driver to actually help you deliver frequently. But what makes us deliver frequently is the idea that we've got an aspiring demonstration that's going to go in front of our customers and in front of our product owners. And actually, we need to deliver this. So not going to actually stress how much stress that can cause sometimes, but it's at the demo. So working together. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. How's that going to happen? Business people are too busy. IT people don't talk, she says. Obviously, I'm wrong. How would we bring people together? Daily stand-ups, yeah, I like that. Planning? Yes? Someone at the back? I can't. Product owner. Yes. The engagement of the product owner, 100% spot on there. So this is something that does get missed out. In a lot of transformation companies, they're like, oh, I'm a product owner, I'm too busy to come and sit with you all and go through all these meetings. Oh my God, you want me to go through all these other meetings? No, I can't do it. I've got other things and better, more important things to do. When I was actually working with the relaunch for NectarCard, and The product owner was an integral part to the delivery. He attended the stand-ups, he attended sprint planning, he attended the refinements, the retros. What was the other one? Sprint review? He attended all of them. He wanted to know where the product was headed. He wanted to know what direction to take. He wanted to make those adjustments. And the power that that gave the team was a lot of confidence on the product, a lot of knowledge of the actual product itself. So we were able to really understand what it was that we were delivering at all levels. So it was a flat structure. And then on the flip side, I had these guys. I can't mention names, but I was in a big boardroom. And I had to actually pay for this cartoon because it really represented what I've been through. So they were like, oh, no time for product owners. What are you talking about? So I said, OK, right, guys, we're going to play a game. We could play it here, but it might take a while. So try it. Try it in the office. That's not really me. Could be one day, but might not be. Anyway, so the game I played was I whispered in the ear of this person. So this was actually to prove that it's so important to be in the mix at all times. So in here, I played Chinese whispers, basically. So I said to him, oh, OK, so there's a white car in the car park. Please pass that message on. It went all the way around the table, over to this guy. And the outcome was, let me remember what it was, something mirror identified. Completely different outcome. So the goal here is to say when you're actually communicating information across to different people, to different areas, to different departments, from CEO level to product level to CEO, executive, line managers, direct line managers, to the team, can you see how that communication would break down? So this gives you the key value that you need. To get value, you need to be at the ground. You need to be at the surface. You need to be with the people you're working with to deliver that value. And so that's why, working together, I made a point to highlight all the key ceremonies. Trust and support. Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. I love this quote. Does anybody else resonate with this? We're not numbers at the end of the day. We do not typically go to work and we don't even go to university to go and get some skills and then get told what to do. Our skills are our skills because we are good at something. And because we're good at something, we should be able to go to work and contribute to our delivery. Whatever it is we're working on, we should be able to contribute and be good at it. And the only way to be good at it is to utilize your skills. So what ceremony does this engage you with? Refinement, exactly. Backlog refinement. To a certain degree, sprint planning as well. In sprint planning, you're empowered to decide what work you're going to take into your next sprint cycle. You are the one deciding. So if anyone else ever says, you have to pull this in, you have the right to say, sorry, for XYZ reason, we're not going to do it. And also your sprint backlog. You need to be still the people that are empowered to decide what goes in and what is ready and what's not ready, rather than say, OK, here's a ticket, here's a work item. It's not quite ready, but let's put it in anyway. No, force it back, get them to change it, get them to actually refine it, make sure it goes through that refinement, and then enable the work. Face-to-face conversations. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Where does this fit in? Yeah? Anywhere else? Absolutely, during the sprint. It's, again, everywhere. You are hosting these sessions. You have to meet in a room to do sprint planning. You have to meet in a room to do backlog refinement. You have to meet your customers to do the demo. Retrospectives, if you do that together, then obviously you're going to get somewhere. it's about facial expressions. Human communication is all around body language, expressions. So if we can't see what people are thinking, we make different perceptions of what they might be saying. Working software. Working software is a primary measure of progress. What does that fall under? Yes. At the demo, at the release, but also at sprint planning, or the sprint backlog planning. Well, I didn't highlight it, did I? Sprint backlog, okay. So the reason I've actually highlighted sprint backlog is because when you're looking to build software, you need to know how complete you can deliver it. So when you're actually going through your sprint cycles, you're planning, when you're doing your backlog planning, you want to look to build something that can be deliverable. So that's where you can then achieve working software. So no kind of half-baked user stories. You need them in their entireties. Who recognizes this picture? It's not one that you've seen before, but could you feel his pain? It's night. He's working late. Okay, well, I can definitely resonate with this. I used to work in a financial company from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then 2-3 hours sleep, back in at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had to stay in a hotel nearby, and this was me just coding away because there was a deadline looming. This was a waterfall project. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Now, I think this is the reason why this has been put in place as part of the manifesto. As part of your sprint planning, you're able to say how many hours you're going to commit to your work. You're going to say, oh, I've got some holidays planned. It gives you that time to work at a sustainable pace. I love this picture. This actually just makes it so cute. So this is exactly how testers feel when they find a bug. This is how developers feel. Hands up, is that right? How true is that? And then this is product owners. They're like, what the hell? What went wrong here? So continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhance agility. I've given the game away in this one. How could we achieve technical excellence at all times and good design? I hear a voice.
Feedback.
Yes? This thing here. 3 amigos. Before you pick up a piece of work, pull your colleagues together, pull the product owner together, and talk about what it is you're going to be delivering, because you're going to validate that, and the chances of you getting it wrong are slimmer. So, and then, okay, the actual smiley faces, it might turn around. Oops. The tester might go from there, and the developer will go there. So that's a goal. Scrum is sustainable. The sprint planning is what? Sorry, I'm going backwards. Continuous attention. How do we achieve it? The product owner consistently reviews their incoming demand. So it's something that I always encourage product owners to do. Every single day, look at your backlog. Think and rethink which item is of value, and bring those value items to the top. Product increment, here again, swap things out as and when you realize of your high-value items. Daily Scrum, keep talking about the work you do. So don't just say, oh, I did this yesterday, I did this today, and I'm blocked here. No, no, no. Hone in on your work items. Hone in on the ticket items and say, this is what I did yesterday, and this is what I'm going to do today. So talk about the actual work rather than just say, oh, I did blah, blah, blah. Because some people fall asleep. I know there's someone in this room that actually understands that I understand that. Backlog refinement. Don't do it once every 2 weeks. Host your backlog refinement once a week. because things do change. And in order to actually be able to capture this change, do your refinements every 2 weeks. Keep it simple. So this is something I love, like the whole KISS philosophy. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. Again, I'm giving the game away here. What do you think that means, work not done?
Do what's really needed.
Yes, exactly. So have a strategy. Imagine that this is a board. All your important stuff, put it in the number 1 box. Anything that's not so important, but it's kind of a nice to have, I would actually put it here. Something that's that could add value, but it's less than that, we'd decide we could do it here. And anything you think is just not feasible, it's not desirable, no one's going to use it, dump it. And don't be afraid to dump it. Oh yeah, where does it belong? Backlog refinement, that's where you can dump things. This is where you can actually talk about value. You can identify dependencies as well. You can say, okay, this is going to need George from marketing to get some collateral together. That's going to take a little while, and we need to prepare that. So let's just delay that because it's not going to add value at this point in time. Another thing I say to people is when you are delivering something and someone wants to have a meeting with you about something that's not in your upcoming sprint, delay it to the time when that sprint is due. Cancel those meetings, because they're just a waste of time. Forgive me if I am offending people here. Self-organizing teams. The best architecture, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. Where does that fit in?
Daily meeting.
Yes. Yes, daily scrum. Where else?
Sprint planning.
Yes. Why?
Is they are aware of what they can commit to.
Yes. It empowers them. They've got the autonomy there. And also the demos. So I'm kind of, again, just keep giving it away, don't I? Sorry. Autonomy and alignment are 2 of the key things for successful product development. Your PO, product owner, is always there. Your work is trusted. You're supported. You know what you're doing. You're good at what you do. You know what you're doing. So what you want is this bit. Now, I have been in environments where it's like this. No alignment. You've got absolutely no clue what you're working on. You've got no product owner dedicated to you. And you've got someone micromanaging you, watching what time you come in, watching what time you go, and then focusing everything on that rather than the work that you're actually delivering. And that can be very frustrating. And actually, that causes people to leave because it just reduces morale, reduces productivity, and it's just not a happy environment. Here, it's all a bit chaotic. There's no one to align, but you can do what you want. Imagine what you can do in an office where no one's telling you what to do, but you can do what you want. Probably Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe another job, clock watching. All sorts of things can happen there. High alignment, low autonomy. So that kind of falls hand in hand with this side, the micromanagement side. Command and control just pushes people into a place where you just don't end up delivering value. When you've got that autonomy and you've got that alignment and you've got that trust, you're more likely to deliver. So DIY is what I call it. Do it yourself, but trust people to do it. So this falls under sprint review. Look back on your previous sprint and see where you can improve, how much you did, what didn't happen, and why. So ask these questions. Sprint planning, again, as you said quite rightly, it falls under that area where you decide how you're going to actually commit to the work and also how long and how much work time you're going to give it. And then also the demonstrations. If you actually get the developers to demonstrate, what value could that bring? Okay, testers. You're learning, you're getting feedback from your customers, and you're learning yourself as to what is the next thing I can do to make this product better. Because you're there in front of your customers, and you're saying, so here's this wonderful product I've built. What do you think? I've built it myself. So, and the customer's like, oh, yeah, that's really good, but what about that? Maybe, just change that from red to green. Okay, yeah, I know what to do there. That's only going to take me a second to do. You've got that feedback. It's quick. Reflect and adjust. That's the best bit, I think. It's where you reflect back on your sprint cycles. So this is the place where you give your teams a safe environment to just have a good old rant. Good old letting go, letting off steam. Pull some beers into the middle of the table, put some wine in the middle of the table, put some snacks there. Even for the healthy ones, put the juice down, put the apples and pears and stuff. Allow people a safe environment to talk. Allow them to actually feel safe enough to talk about their frustrations from the previous sprint, and then make sure that changes and make sure those changes occur. So this is reflect and adjust. That falls 100% on your retrospectives. So that's the manifesto. So what are the pros and cons of Scrum? I'm actually going to go through this because I'm a bit mindful of time. Sorry, Raquel. Okay, pros and cons. You are going to get value early by following the principles of these manifestos. You're going to come forward and become collaborative. You're going to get clear visibility through your backlog refinements. You're going to get empowered through your backlog refinement, through your sprint planning, through your retrospectives, fast feedback through your demos. Setting up Scrum efficiently is quite difficult. It's not as straightforward as you think. People are scrambling around, trying to figure out what they're doing, not sure what it all means yet, know all the buzzwords, but just don't quite get what it means yet. Allow that time, allow the realization to unfold. It takes time, but once you've got it, you'll never forget it. It does leave you in a vulnerable place because you are asked to speak your mind. And I think this is a great thing. People don't always agree with me, but I think it's a good thing. When you speak the truth of what you feel something is, you're more likely to get responses, you're more likely to get an action or a reaction, which is probably what's needed sometimes. Commitment, it takes commitment. It needs people to actually leave their desks and join together and go through these actual ceremonies. It can get monotonous. I gave you the description of the daily stand-up, but you can find ways to speed it up, funk it up. It is structured, but it's also agnostic. So it can, as you start to mature through your Scrum cycles and through your sprint cycles, as you start to get to know the cadence, you really can change that structure a little bit if you wanted to. And it does require people to change, not just change the way they work, but it does involve a mindset shift as well. It can be misunderstood. Scope creep is a common occurrence for Scrum. There's no end date, so you'll always have the kind of senior execs go, when is this going to be finished? When's it going to be done? You don't always have an answer for that, so that can be a bit scary for some people. I've repeated monotonous twice, sorry. Cause panic. So if you're getting towards the end of your sprint cycle and you've just not done anything, you're going to actually put those out. You may find yourself putting the hours in to deliver, or you could just be honest and say, actually, I got sidetracked by Game of Thrones or something. And it can be mechanical. Some companies go, okay, right, this is how we're going to do Scrum. Let's just do it, but just put no heart and soul into it. I do not appreciate those kind of environments. I once went into a retrospective that was so formal you could cut the room with a knife. And it's not favored. The cadence. So This is something I have used with companies time and time again, and it's worked time and time again. So you have a 2-week sprint cycle. Anyone that says 4 weeks, you need to really explore why and go back to the people's processes, platforms, and delivery side of things, just to really, go back and explore those 4 Ps and understand why you're doing it 4 weeks. Week 1, it's Monday morning, everyone's ready to go. Let's do a quick review of what we did last sprint. Straight after, I would recommend that you do sprint planning. Just 1 hour, time box it. Backlog refinement, I would say have it week 1 and week 2, and have it on a Wednesday afternoon where the productivity levels seem to just dip a little bit. Get people away from their desks, do your refinements then. At the end of the sprint cycle, week 2, on a Friday afternoon, host your demo. And that same afternoon, I would say host your retrospectives. Why? It's Friday. Everyone wants to get ready for the weekend. The demo is going to go really well. So we need to go and retrospect. Let's reflect. Let's just have that downtime. That is a perfect pinnacle point for downtime. And then, of course, every day do your daily scrum. Morning, ideally, but not always. This is why it's not always in the mornings. Working remotely, that can be a challenge. How many people are you doing Scrum remotely? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? How do you host your ceremonies?
Video conference.
Conference calls, yeah. But you're also having to coordinate across different time zones, right? You might have a dodgy network. That's hard work, that's painful. And also different, sorry.
And that's why I've discovered this strange thing.
Okay.
About the ceremonies. Sometimes a chat works better than a video call.
Yes,
Because there's
absolutely.
much less issues.
Yep,
Yes, okay.
absolutely,
So
spot
why are
on.
you doing it?
I've been doing it. High five. Yeah, no, chat works. Chat's really good. Chat's engaging. So we really want to start finding ways to engage people remotely. How can we do that? I've discovered this thing called My White Webboard. Have you heard of it? No? Oh my God, it's brilliant. Try it out. My White Webboard is a collaborative tool that you can use to get people to do the same thing you do on a whiteboard, but electronically. So you have Post-it, you can draw on it, and it's real time. So wherever you are in the world, if you're using the same white webboard as each other, you can potentially collaborate remotely. Obviously, Jira, Trello, VSCS, Asana, most of these are on the cloud. Hi.
How different is from Trello then?
My white webboard is just a whiteboard that people can squiggle on.
Draw.
Yep. I can show you an example afterwards if you want. Email is OK. Slack. Obviously, Skype, WebEx, Google Hangouts. And then also sharing drives, shared drives. So those are the key things that I would say support Scrum. These are a bit more. So we're going down the route of the DevOps world at the moment. And like I said, I'm happy to share these slides, and I will do. But you've got a plethora of different tools that you can use for different scenarios. So definitely zoom in on those. So there we have it, the power of Scrum. The power of Scrum, it can satisfy the customer. It can welcome change. It can deliver frequently. It can enable people to work together. It can build trust and support, enable face-to-face conversations, create working software, enable sustainable development, create continuous attention, maintain simplicity, create self-organizing teams, and allows you to reflect and adjust. Thank you. So just a quick little bit about me. I didn't introduce myself, but Raquel kindly did. I'm Sheetal, and I've been an Agile consultant for the best part of 8-9 years now. And typically, I am a very transparent person. When it comes to doing anything Agile, I'll give you everything you need to know. I'm that passionate about it. And I want to try and put it into as many companies as I can. So far, so good.